I can still see her laugh that night, as vivid as if it happened yesterday. We sat opposite ends of bed, me buried in emails, her scrolling through TikTok. When I finally broke the silence, "It's been 2 months, Emily," I said quietly. "We're married. We should at least try to reconnect." She looked up, a faint smirk tugging at her lips, and then laughed, a short, sharp laugh that cut deeper than any argument we'd ever had. "You're not sleeping with me," she said, mockery dripping from her words, like she was delivering a punchline. "Not until I feel like it. Deal with it." My stomach sank. This wasn't the first time she'd brushed me aside, but that night it felt heavier, colder. There was no reasoning, no apology, just a dismissive edge, as if my feelings didn't matter at all. I didn't respond. I lay there staring at the ceiling, listening to her soft, steady breathing, the silence between us stretching wider with every second. The next morning, I tried again, hoping to reach her, to understand. "Emily, this isn't just about sex," I said carefully. "It's about intimacy, partnership, being a team." She rolled her eyes, dismissive. "You're so dramatic. Not everything revolves around you." Something inside me shifted. For weeks, I blamed myself, wondering if I wasn't patient enough, attractive enough, attentive enough. But gradually, the truth became clear. It wasn't about me. It was about respect, or rather, her lack of it. I began noticing things I had overlooked. The hours spent texting and giggling at her phone while barely talking to me. The night she stayed late at work. The perfume I didn't recognize clinging to her clothes. I tried to convince myself I was imagining it, but deep down, I knew the truth. The breaking point came one Friday evening. I was in the hallway when I heard her voice drifting from the kitchen. "He's so needy," she laughed, a sound that tightened my chest. "It's like living with a teenager. Don't worry, he won't do anything. He never does." I froze, hearing her mock me so openly to someone else. Anger replaced hurt instantly. That night, while she was still on the phone, I quietly opened my laptop and started researching divorce attorneys. I needed to understand my options, to prepare for what was coming. Over the weekend, I kept my composure. I smiled, made coffee, acted as if everything was normal. But inside, I was resolved. My instincts told me there was more beneath the surface, and I refused to ignore it. On Sunday, she mentioned meeting a friend for brunch. I watched her get ready. Full makeup, a new dress, heels she hadn't worn since our wedding. My chest tightened, but I nodded and said, "Have fun." Once she left, I followed at a distance, far enough to stay unnoticed, close enough to see her enter a quiet cafe and step into the arms of a man I didn't know. They embraced intimately, familiar, their closeness undeniable. Secret smiles, soft touches, whispered words not meant for me. I didn't confront them. I didn't raise my voice. I took out my phone and recorded 10 minutes of proof. Every laugh, every glance, every subtle gesture. When she finally kissed him goodbye in the parking lot, my chest fell on fire. But I had what I needed that evening. She returned home smiling, planting a casual kiss on my cheek. "How was brunch?" I asked, keeping my voice even. "Fine," she said, kicking off her shoes. "Good," I replied, holding up my phone, "because I'd hate to think you were being dishonest." Her face drained of color as I pressed play. Every moment of betrayal unfolded on the screen. The laughter, the touches, the stolen smiles. She opened her mouth, but no words came. "Emily," I said slowly, letting the weight of my anger settle. "Do you understand how humiliating it is to be laughed at in my own home, in my own marriage, and then discovered it behind my back?" Her hands shook as she reached for the phone. "It's not what it looks like," she stammered. I cut her off. "It is exactly what it looks like." My voice was sharp, unwavering. "I'm done pretending this is a marriage." For the first time, I saw fear in her eyes. She tried to reach for me, but I stepped back. "Do you think this is a joke?" I asked, my voice trembling with anger. "You won't be laughing tomorrow." That night, I packed a suitcase, sent the evidence to my lawyer, and slept on the couch. Not because I had to, but to put as much distance between us as possible. The next morning, I avoided breakfast, avoided conversation. When she entered the kitchen, eyes red, face weary, she asked softly, "Can we talk?" "We did talk last night," I said flatly. "Now it's time to act." She sat across from me, hands twisting nervously. "It was a mistake," she whispered. "It didn't mean anything." I looked her in the eyes. "Emily, you laughed at me, mocked me, and betrayed me. That choice alone jeopardized our entire marriage." Tears streamed down her cheeks. "I can change. I swear. Just don't leave me." I shook my head. "You made your choice when you chose him over us. I won't beg for scraps of your affection." She grabbed my hand, desperation in her eyes. "You can't throw away everything we built." I slowly pulled my hand back. "You already did. Every time you cheated. Every time you laughed at my love for this marriage." The room was silent except for her sobs. I stood, picked up the divorce papers I had printed that morning, and placed them on the table. "I want a divorce," I said, calm and unwavering. Her face crumpled entirely. "Please don't," she cried. "I deserve a wife who respects me," I said. "You deserve the man you've been sneaking around with. Go be with him." I left that afternoon. Suitcase in the trunk, my future suddenly wide open. For the first time in months, I felt something I hadn't felt in a long while. Peace. A week later, she texted, "I made a mistake. Please come home." I didn't respond. The papers were signed. The court date set. When we faced the judge, she wept quietly. I didn't shed a single tear. Walking out of the courthouse, I realized something important. The most powerful act isn't always shouting, fighting, or pleading. Sometimes it's reclaiming your life, refusing to settle for anything less than respect, love, and truth.